The shift came as a shock. Everything seemed normal 1 minute, and then reality broke. What had been solid suddenly fell apart. The environment around you seemed a little odd, like a signal that was not properly tuned, and your reflection felt strange. The dissonance persists days afterward. Sounds are louder, colors are more vivid, and there's an unexplainable electricity in the air. Even your own hands seem strange, as if they ought to have some indication of the change taking place inside you. The most peculiar aspect, however, is not that everything seems changed, but rather the silent assurance that everything was always there, lurking just below the surface, just waiting for you to realize. Memories flash, warped. Your old beliefs about who you are, what you desire, and how the world works seem alien. Desperate to cling on, you grab at them, but they evade you like smoke. You don't recognize your own reflection. Are those eyes even yours, looking back at you? Although they seem to be identical, there is a difference. Too much weight, too much depth, and an unnatural stirring behind them. There is nothing to cling to when your mind resists, looking for a cause, an anchor, or a method to halt it. Your whole being is changing at a rate that shouldn't be feasible. Real-time rewiring of thoughts, feelings, and instincts. A force beyond of your control is tearing apart and removing the old you. Inside of you, something is awakening. It's a weird electric pulse that you feel under your skin, like static building up before a storm. It hums, alive and unnerving, in your veins. You know it's there, growing, spreading, and taking over, even if you don't comprehend it. Your body no longer feels like your own. You feel as if something invisible is tugging at you and moving inside of you as you move. Your breathing seems more regulated, deeper, and sharper. The area around you feels the pressure of your own weight. Though subtle, it is indisputable. For a minute, you don't recognize yourself when you look in the mirror. Although the characteristics and form are the same, something has changed. Your eyes are no longer simply eyes. They contain something ancient and enormous. They reflect things they shouldn't and draw light in various ways. It seems as if they are looking back at you the longer you gaze. You blink. The emotion remains even when the moment does not. The air surrounding you is suddenly moving in an odd way. Even if they remain silent, everyone may feel it. They look at you more intently now. Some people pause when they talk to you, as if they sense something unfamiliar or pushing on them. It occurs again when you stand in a busy area or move in your chair. People pay attention. It's who you are, not what you're doing. The world around you is being distorted by your energy. Then the vivid, too real dreams begin as well. They feel nothing like dreams. You awaken to memories that are not part of this existence, images of places and people you have never seen before, and symbols and messages that you instantly comprehend, despite never having seen them before. What's the worst? When you wake up, they remain the same. They remain with you, infiltrating your thoughts throughout the day. A faint murmur in the recesses of your consciousness. An unexpected visual flash while doing a routine task. Or a sense that someone or something is attempting to communicate with you. Your mind is racing right now. You could be thinking about something straightforward, like what to eat, where to go, or what to say next, and then your mind is breaking down reality, identifying patterns you were previously unaware of, and revealing realities that shouldn't be so clear. Everything makes sense until it doesn't. Everything is interconnected. It's frighteningly fast. You used to have trouble understanding things, processing feelings, and determining what felt right. But now, your mind is overflowing with ideas before you can ever capture them. People, their feelings, their hidden agendas, the energy they carry. You see them for what they are, not for what they appear to be. It's too much. All of this is something you should not have noticed, But you do. And it's just getting worse. You see it slipping. Not just your history, not just your old ideas, but you yourself. Like a house falling apart in slow motion, everything you ever knew about yourself is coming apart one by one. It crumbles more quickly the more you clutch it, the more you attempt to catch it, keep it together, and make it remain the same. Panic strikes. This is destruction, not just alteration. Without the version of oneself you've always known, who are you? In a frantic attempt to preserve what is familiar, you scratch at the boundaries of who you are. It doesn't go away, even if you tell yourself it's just a phase, and that you'll get used to it. Rather, it speeds up. Your body is no longer paying attention to you. Under your skin, energy is pulsing through you and exploding like lightning. You sense it changing, growing, and taking control. It doesn't hurt, yet it burns. It seems like you've been connected to something far bigger than you could have ever dreamed, pulsing through your bones, breath, and pulse. You are unsure of your ability to manage it. The environment around you physically sways. On the table, a glass that is too near you rattles. Before you even say a word, people sense your presence. You are terrified because your sheer presence is changing the world around you. You make an effort to combat it, to repress it, to revert to the version of yourself that had this presence, this strength, and this knowledge. However, it becomes more chaotic the more you resist. Your emotions are now forces rather than merely feelings. Not only does sadness cause you to weep, but it also turns the atmosphere into something heavy and oppressive. Anger does more than only raise your heart rate. It also destabilizes the atmosphere, making others uncomfortable and the objects around you seem unsteady. Time is distorted by your own thinking. You claim to have just looked at the time, but for some reason, hours have turned into minutes, or minutes seem to go on forever, keeping you stuck in a moment that won't let go. You, in reality, are not as solid as you believed. The person you were before everything is fading away, and something new is growing in the void left by it. It's strong and unstoppable, but you're still terrified because you're not sure whether you'll recognize yourself when it's all done. You are mistaken about the world. Don't you sense it? The weight of something greater pushing on the thin layer of what you once believed. The fissures in reality, the unseen threads tugging at everything. It is unavoidable. The once natural talks now seem staged, prepared, and unauthentic. People live lives that don't feel like their own, repeating phrases they don't even comprehend. Like ghosts posing as real, they move like echoes, caught in a delusion they will never challenge, but you can now see through it. Society is a fabrication, not merely a broken system. The expectations, the regulations, and the structures were never genuine. They were put in place to keep people sleeping and to maintain their belief in a false version of reality. You see people cling to relationships that deplete them, seek meaningless things, and dread things that shouldn't have the ability to control them. At one point you were among them, but something drew you away. Time feels different now. It defies logic as it flows about you, bending, stretching, and compressing. While some moments pass quickly, as if they were never meant to be, others linger in eerie silence for eternity. The colors around you seem more vibrant and lively. You feel them, not just see them. Subtle yet unmistakable concealed energy permeates the air. You know it's genuine, but you can't describe it. Before, you couldn't perceive it, yet it was always real. Then, there is the way you are seen by others. Some people give you a short glimpse before abruptly averting their gaze, as if their brains are refusing to comprehend what they are seeing. Others are enthralled, lured in, and unable to explain why they look for so long. You know what's going on, but they don't. Reality is changing because of you. Some are attracted to it, drawn in like an irresistible wave. They are interested in getting to know you, understanding you, and figuring out what makes you unique. Their spirit knows you before their intellect ever will, but they are unaware of this. Then there are the others, The people who instantly back off when they detect your energy. They dread it, but they don't comprehend it. They recognize that you are different from them. They don't trust things they can't manage, and you are no longer under their control. You're slipping out of the old world. Its fantasies do not belong to you. You can't turn back now that you've crossed over them. During all of this, you felt alone. No one could explain to you why time was warping, why people were treating you differently, or why your thoughts were racing. This was true for every shift, every disturbing change, and every moment when you wondered whether you were sane. You never felt alone, even if it seemed like you were losing yourself. They were always present, observing, directing, and waiting. Do you not perceive it? That invisible presence that hovers just beyond your consciousness. It's not your imagination. It's not a mental trick. Something has been with you throughout this time, ensuring that the weight of your metamorphosis doesn't shatter you. Every time you felt like you wouldn't make it through this change, something stepped in, a gut instinct that told you precisely what to do, a startling realization, or a little moment of calm in the midst of mayhem. It was no accident. Spirit guides, a heavenly counterpart, an invisible force, they have been protecting you. The fact is that you are being looked over, regardless of the name you choose. They were there to draw you back from the brink even at your darkest times, when everything seemed to be breaking apart. They didn't interfere or halt the metamorphosis, but they made sure you survived it because you had to. They were waiting for you to arrive at this point, because you were never supposed to break apart entirely. Rather, you were supposed to change. From the nightmares that weren't just dreams to the numbers that kept repeating, and whispering messages you didn't completely grasp to the unexplained feeling that you were being pushed in the direction of this, or something else. The indications had been there the whole time. You were never blind. Something kept you from going too far, even when everything seemed out of control, and you felt like you were drowning. They have been planning your course, coordinating circumstances, and putting you in the right place to awaken, and now you have. The delusions are dissolving. This change may seem like devastation, yet it is really rebirth as you begin to recall what was concealed from you. You are, and always have been protected, because they are not just keeping an eye on you, but also waiting for you to completely embrace your true self. Just stop there. You, indeed. This won't be felt by everyone. So if that's the case, keep on. No animosity. However, you already know that this message is intended for you if something in your spirit just clicked, if you sense this in your gut or soul. They are the ones who see through the illusion, the ones who have been instructed to sit down, to follow the crowd, to be like everyone else, but who have never been able to do so. Untouchable, unshaken, and unquestionable, you go through life like a hurricane without asking permission or following trends. While the rest of the world follows its tail, you forge your own path, alone if necessary. Because it's just who you are, not for praise or favor. You create something wonderful out of what was intended to shatter you. You possess insight that can only be experienced. It cannot be taught. It could be time for you to find your tribe if this resonates with you. With more than 400 of us congregating, honing and developing, the Obsidian Inner Order is the premier ascension hub for chosen ones. No illusions or masks, just the unvarnished reality. The description contains the URL. You'll know where we are if you're ready. It's also okay if it's not. Not everyone is a good fit for every door. The appearance of your human self falters for a moment, exposing something deeper, something bigger, something older. You know this isn't a prank, so even though your pulse is racing, you keep your eyes fixed on the real you, the version of yourself that has been buried behind layers of programming, forgotten over the course of lifetimes, and concealed beneath the weight of the world. But now, your genuine shape is showing through. The mask is coming off, and the phony identity is deteriorating. You may sense it in the way people pause, be perplexed, interested, and uneasy, in the way eyes linger when you enter a room, in the way quiet grows when you speak. They sense it, even if they don't know what it is. You have never been like them, and you never will be. No matter what you do, it won't work. You may attempt to blend in, lessen your presence, or diminish yourself. Your inner vitality will not be concealed. It passes through you, distorting the environment around you and causing reality to bend in ways that are perceptible to others, but inexplicable to them. It attracts certain people. They linger close to you, captivated, yearning for the comfort of an incomprehensible thing. They want to become close to you in the hopes that they may pick up some of your traits. They follow you because they can't help it, not because you want them to. Then there are the others, the people who recognize who you are and reject it right away. They fear you, not just despise you. Something deep inside them feels threatened by your presence. It undermines the base of what people believe to be true and breaks the illusion they have created. You stand for something beyond their control and predictability. The opposition is all around you. The old world is falling apart, and the people who created it are scared of you, not of conflict, catastrophe, or the mayhem they brought about. They were aware that the awakening, the breakdown of their power, and the day when individuals like you, who are able to see through illusions, would rise above them, were all imminent. They have been preparing for this for a lot longer than you think. And now they are attempting to keep you stuck in old patterns by using falsehoods, diversions, and fear-based narratives. They want you sidetracked and self-conscious because they will lose everything if you take full use of your power. So they put you to the test. The world seems chaotic at one point, with every headline, every discussion, and every change in mood attempting to reinstill anxiety. You can feel it, the fatigue, the weight, the weird, unnatural weight attempting to slow you down, to obscure your eyesight. However, it is no longer effective. You can see right through it. You are no longer controlled by the terror they use as a weapon. You are no longer controlled by the delusions they produce. They frighten you because they sense that you are out of their grasp, and the spells they perform with words, energy, and altered reality shatter the instant they touch you. They are unable to entice you back into submission or drag you back into the system. The programming that was intended to keep you tiny, doubtful, and sleepy no longer works on you. They panic as a result. The resistance intensifies. People you used to trust start acting oddly. Their emotions are out of sync, and their remarks seem scripted. You feel as if something is attempting to re-enter the dream via them. However, you are now aware of the distinction between manipulation and the truth. Your body is aware of it. You can tell when the energy is off, when someone is attempting to sway you, when everything around you is trying to pull you back into alignment, but you are no longer bending. The match is over. Regardless of anything they attempt to stop it, you are rising as the world changes. You've been struggling with this, clinging to what little remains of the person you believed yourself to be. You made an effort to slow down and oppose the changes, although you secretly knew there was no turning back. You convinced yourself you could strike a balance between the two, remain rooted in the past, while moving into the future. The more you struggled with it, the more it weighed on you. The fatigue, the bewilderment, the odd tug between who you were and who you are now. The burden of an identity that no longer fits. You let go because it was never intended for you to bear this burden forever. And everything changes the instant you do. In a moment, the resistance, the dread, and the uncertainty vanish like mist charred by the early light. And what takes its place? Strength. Nor the sort that seeks approval, nor the kind that commands or exerts control. A power so unchanging, so absolute, that it just is. It has always existed, hidden under the cacophony, the indoctrination, and the appearance of restriction. Your thinking has expanded beyond its previous limits. Thoughts arrive more quickly, yet they are clear and uncluttered. The bits and pieces of information that you formerly found difficult to comprehend now seem to have always been there. Now look at you. You should never flee from whatever they tell you to be afraid of. Even physical changes, mental distortions, and inexplicable changes. It was intended to expose you, not to shatter you. You have complete control over the skills that used to frighten you and make you doubt your own sanity. Since you know there is no turning back, you no longer fight against them, you no longer repress them, and you no longer spend time debating whether or not to return to how things were. Now is the time to claim this identity of yours. Reality itself is altered by your existence. Your will is what causes the energy around you to bend, not chance or chaos. Your greatest talents are now the ideas you previously questioned, and the intuition you once disregarded. You choose how events unfold rather than just sensing them before they happen. You control the environment around you, not only the energy of others. There is no longer any fear. Instead, there is calm, strength, and control. You are activated, not simply awoke. However, the world isn't yet prepared for you, which is why the last test is approaching. It comes suddenly. A break in the illusion, an unavoidable incident that upends what people thought was true. A moment of discovery so acute that it divides their whole existence in two. A loss so severe that it tears away their final link to the old world. A betrayal so deep that it compels them to face the truth. For some, it's personal. Others see it as a communal phenomenon, with the system as a whole collapsing, buildings collapsing, and unavoidable facts coming to light. Its own deceit caused the illusion, which they created to keep people asleep, to crumble. Panic breaks out. In a frantic attempt to make sense of an unstable world, people rush about looking for explanations. Their eyes convey the bewilderment, terror, and desperate attempt to cling to a vanished reality. This was revelation, never transformation. Everything they taught you about yourself, every classification, every regulation, and every restriction, was never yours to bear. You were conditioned by the world to believe that you were short, frail, and transient. It taught you to suppress your instincts, to dread your own strength, and to conform to a mold that would never accept who you are. However, you have seen the reality. You were created to remember, never to become anything. What they referred to as monstrous was never really monstrous. Your body's changing, your mind's speeding, and the way reality warps in your presence were all signs of something precious and never abnormal. They served as evidence. They were the reverberations of your constant surface rise. You've burnt away the version of yourself that lived inside human bounds. They now realize that you are something completely different, something that the old world was unable to identify, explain, or classify, something they could never have anticipated, and something they would never be able to manage.